Hello, everybody. My guest is running a little bit late, so I thought I would go ahead and hop on here and let me get this carried over to Instagram. Talk to you a little bit about some exciting things coming up. There we go. We're good. We're live on Instagram. First off, thank you, everybody, for joining me today. Whether you were watching this live or you were watching this recorded, I always appreciate you taking time to participate in giving me a little piece of your day and listening to whatever the conversation is that unfolds, whether I'm chatting solo or I have a guest present. I thought I would do a little bit of an update, tell you about some kind of fun stuff that's been going on. I had last weekend, it's all the week. Sometimes the days seem to blur together, don't they? So this past weekend, I had my 30th high school reunion. So it was actually a reunion for everybody who had graduated in the 80s and 90s, but it is actually 30 years since I graduated. And so I did go to the reunion, and it was a long expanse of time. So I'm sure I missed some folks who may have arrived after I headed out. I couldn't hang on there till 11:30, which was when it was going to be going until. But I had a really wonderful opportunity to connect with some people that I'd gone to high school with and some former teachers. And, you know, when you have those experiences, even if you haven't connected with those people maybe since high school, there's just that bond that gets shared because there was part of those forming years of your life where you were sorting things out and figuring out who you are and what your priorities were going to be. And so it was really wonderful to see people and catch up and take an opportunity to reflect on the journey that's been my life and the journeys that are all of our lives, right? With these different twists and turns, some of which we expect and some of which we don't, and share about where we are as opposed to where we might have thought that we were going to be, and the beauty that is the miracle of existence and opportunities that we have. And in having some really great conversations with folks and thinking about ways that we could help to support each other. So that was just a really neat thing that happened. In the background, I've been doing some yard work. It's actually pretty cleared up right now, but got some poison ivy, and it did not want to go away. Ended up going on a steroid, and then was doing yard work with the steroid. Got to tell you that it really is very interesting when you are on steroids and the different ways that you do or don't perceive pain. So finding I have to be mindful of that. I am not 18 years old, and though I might feel a little differently right now when I'm on the steroids, I still have to keep myself in check in terms of not overdoing it. So I mentioned that because I had a couple of folks who had reached out either because they saw me in pictures or videos and were just concerned because my neck was flared up pretty bad. And there was a point where there was some on my face, and they hadn't heard me mention that I had poison ivy. That's what it was. I got some poison ivy working outside. Most people are allergic. Some people don't think they are because they touch the poison ivy, but the leaf is not broken, and so they don't get the oil on them, and so they don't think they're allergic. But most people have a reaction to poison ivy. I am highly allergic to poison ivy, though, probably because I've gotten it so many times. And though I try to be careful, there are times when I get outside and I'm doing yard work and I'm really just not paying attention to how careful I need to be. So that was the reason for the stuff on my arm, my neck, and on my face, a batch of poison ivy. So all of that said, we are in the last day of July. And as I had mentioned in some posts in previous videos, August marks when I'm going to be launching my community. I have landed on the name The Purpose Collective with the tagline Purpose in Motion. I know that there are some other communities out there with very similar names, but the more I ran names by different people and different suggestions and thoughts, it felt right. And so I'm going to go with that. And that community is going to include a Facebook group that will be free. And that will be a place where people can connect and support one another. And I will be sharing some of the content from the paid community, which I will be hosting on School. I am going to be posting some stuff in my On This Path, the poetry launch Facebook group, which I had started. And then, to be honest, really didn't give the attention that I intended to give that community. And I still do want to do that. So I had kind of contemplated rolling that over into the community and that letting people know. But I really want to leave that for that book. Because I think there's a lot of opportunity for people to share in there, specifically in regards to not just On This Path, but some other stuff that's going to be coming up with my writing, but also what people want to share about their own adventures in reading and writing and things related to those topics. So I am going to keep that community its own community, but I will be posting in there about the Purpose Collective so that people that want to join that other Facebook group can do it. It's a real simple, when you request to join that Facebook group, it's, like 2 questions, name, email, address, just so I kind of can keep a track, because what I will be doing, and this is going to include both the free Facebook community and the paid school community, I'm going to be keeping a roster of sorts where people will be able to see who's in the group and what areas of focus they have, just to foster collaborative work, networking, anything along those lines, where people might be able to see people that they could potentially work with, donate time with, have a great conversation with, anything in that regard. So I'm going to be collecting just really basic information on that. I'm really excited about it. I had, for years, there were so many things that I knew that I wanted to do and was passionate about, and would kind of start and then not really fully be able to dive into. And I think a lot of that has to do with, we put these expectations around the things that have to be lined up and in place in order for it to happen. And then even like, I can tell you, when I was doing my book, like there were some things where I'm like, oh, well, I'm not quite ready yet because I got to get this done. And you really just have to push yourself over that line. And so there were some things that I originally had intended on wanting to have in place first before I started the community, and really just realized that I think that with this launch, right, and there's going to be the inaugural first group of people that will join, I'm going to be forming that stuff, creating some of the content that's going to be hosted in there with that group. And rather than waiting to kind of load up the community with all of this content, launch the community, get it started, and stop having my finger kind of on that pause button, waiting for something to be ready, when what it's about is connecting with people. As I've mentioned before, while I am really going to be focused on helping people to go after their goals and dreams, create action plans for changes that they want to make, whether it's a change that they expected to make and really want to make, or it's something that they're going through that they hadn't expected, creating those plans, taking action on those steps, feeling good about it. But all of that has to do with embracing purpose, embracing what your purpose is and how you can fully live that, recognizing the beauty that is the purpose of people around us, questioning what is the purpose of something that we're doing, to see if it really makes sense that we continue doing something that maybe we're just doing because we always have. But that purpose word really at the core. And so with that, whether it has to do with personal goals, professional goals, there's a melding of the two. I want to help people to be able to achieve those things using strategies that I've used both for myself and in working with organizations and other individuals. And I also want to just create a community that is focused on, you're going to learn and you're going to feel loved. And so a lot of what you're going to see me putting out there about is not going to necessarily be anything talking about the specific financial gain that you get or the number of clients that you're going to get. I think that some of that stuff is going to be based on how you utilize the community that I really hope to foster. But I can promise that I will love you, and I can promise that you will learn things. And those two pieces of the community are going to be something that I always want to be central in my interactions with people and people's interactions with each other, because I think that when we do that, when we really lean into love first and continuing to have that learning and growth mindset, incredible things happen, and the growth becomes exponential as we kind of look around and see everybody else doing that as well and join together. So that is obviously something that's really front and center on my mind right now, because we've got August starting tomorrow. I did decide that I'm going to launch the Facebook group first. So that will be launching tomorrow, August 1st. And then the school community will be launching right now. The date that I have is August 15th. Now, obviously, there are a variety of things that can happen. So I never want to say that's definite, because as much as that is my goal and I want to make that happen, there have been some different pieces that have been moving with some things that I'm working on. And I want to make sure that when I dive into that, it makes the most sense. But all intents and purposes, I really do believe that the school community is going to go live on August 15th. Any folks that have any questions about that, please feel free to reach out to me on any of my social media platforms, or you can go to the website, dharrisonpvd.com. You can fill out the contact form, and that will go into my email. If you've got any questions about what that community is going to be about, in addition to the stuff that obviously I'll be putting out there, that will make it easier for you to click and go through the process to get yourself in there. Other things coming up. I am still working on the book that's going to go along with the On This Path poetry book, the companion book, which is going to talk a little bit about the motivation and inspiration behind some of those poems, things that I was going through in my life. As you know, that poetry book covers a very large span of my life. I include a poem in there from when I was in elementary school. So it's got poetry that I've been writing for years and years. And so just going to give some little snippets of stuff. Subsequent to that, I will be working on a book that's going to be really just focused on that same type of thing, but not necessarily related to the poem. So it's going to be anecdotes from throughout my life, some essays and reflections and things like that. There's some other stuff that I'm working on in the background. I do have some short stories that I had written years ago that I'm kind of pulling out and recrafting a little bit that I'm going to put out there as well. So really excited because I've always loved writing, and it's been something that I really knew that I was going to do, but just again hadn't taken the time and the attention to give myself those things and make them happen. And being able to now be on stages and be talking about the message through the content creation and to be getting my writing out there, such a incredible way for me to reflect on all of these different facets of my life and of the values that I have. Particularly letting kindness and love be at the forefront of that, and how we can be effective partners, friends, leaders, coworkers, teammates, etc., utilizing those characteristics. So I don't know let me see here, if comments or questions will feed over, because sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. But if anybody's got any questions and wants to pop them up there, let me look over here. There we go. All right. I think everything is feeding over here. So sometimes the comments and the questions don't feed over. They don't feed over right away. But yeah, so those are the big things that are taking place. I have some clients that I'm working with that have some big things going on. I'm excited about that stuff. I'll announce that stuff separately because I want to make sure that I'm able to give their specific achievements the attention that they deserve, letting those things stand alone. The chats with that, Deb, now I forget what the count is up to. I should have looked beforehand, but up to about 60 of these that I've done. And I love it. I love hearing people's stories. I love sharing information with people, the feedback and the responses that I've gotten. Having watched the YouTube channel grow in ways that I had, hoped and planned for, but of course, then watching it happen, up to over 117,000 subscribers on YouTube. I'm very grateful to everyone who may be watching this, who is one of those subscribers. It means a great deal to me. And as I've shared before, having watched in the past, my kids watch their creators when they were younger, right? Some of their favorite creators get those play buttons. You can see it right there. Get those play buttons. And it was this kind of elusive thing. And now having received that, and it's quite a process that YouTube goes through to give that out. So once you hit that over that 100,000 subscriber mark for the silver play button, you say, yes, I'd like to be considered for the silver play button. And they do an analysis of your channel to make sure that all of the content is your content, that it's not just a lot of content that you're copying and pasting, that it's not clickbait, that it's not using a lot of copyrighted material. They do check your subscribers to make sure that those are all actual subscribers, and make sure it doesn't look like you paid for subscribers or anything along those lines. So there is a big analysis that takes place of your channel. And so when you get that final, yes, you've been approved, it's not just that you've hit that 100,000 mark for subscribers, but also that your channel's gotten that review. So that was really neat. And if you didn't get a chance to see it, it's super cheesy, but I love it. The play button had arrived out on the front porch. My husband saw it, and so I didn't know it was here, and he started recording and called me down to see it. And not really thinking about that I was going to share all of that content with anybody. Really had a lot of fun with my family, with just getting super excited and letting all that enthusiasm be present. And then I ended up sharing that whole video, which is fun because you get a picture of me there celebrating with my family, very unabashedly, just living in the moment. And that's something that I've talked about doing. So I think that it was good to show it. I think that a lot of times we feel like we need to be more reserved when we're really excited about things, because maybe it'll come across as we're naive or unpolished if we get super excited and giddy. But I think that's the juice of life, right? Really just enjoying those things and especially when we're with people that we know are cheering with us. And the more that we do that for ourselves and model that for other people, the more that we encourage other people to celebrate in that way, to celebrate themselves, to celebrate others. And because we work hard for things, and when we achieve those things, and when we're recognizing that we're honoring the gifts that we've been given, it's a really nice thing. So I think that I would love to see more people doing that in a way that feels very freeing, and that we give people that encouragement to shine and celebrate in that way. So I'm going to give my guest a few more minutes here, and if she's not able to hop on, then I think I'll probably sign off for the day. But I'm really grateful to everybody who has offered support with the messages, the comments on the social media, people that have reached out to me in a variety of different fashions, calls, text messages, emails, contact through the website, etc., to really cheer on what I've been doing. It means a lot to me. And every time I get a message like that, that message gets imprinted on my heart and is carried through everything else that I do moving forward. We all are incredible human beings with special gifts. We have a unique purpose. There's nobody that can replace you. You've seen me talk about that you matter. It's so important to me that everybody recognize how valuable they are. And the fact that these things that I've cared about so much are able to be shared with people and see people react to them and provide feedback that's welcoming and supportive and constructive feedback as well, and really helping me to shape how I do things to make sure that I'm reaching people in the most effective way. And by effective way, I mean helping people to be the best version of themselves that they can be. That's my ultimate goal. I want to see people really embrace how amazing they are and carry that out into the world and share with people and connect with people. Sometimes we go through things and it's really tough and we're looking for the lesson. And the lesson is that we have just learned something that's going to help somebody else in an amazing way, that they're going to create a gigantic impact. So it's this ripple effect of when we live into recognizing that we can make all these incremental impacts that can create massive impact and just reach across the globe, because we are all really part of one body and we have these individual parts that we play. And that's something that I think I just feel really grateful constantly to have that awareness and know that everyone that's watching this right now, whether they are somebody that I'm going to communicate with or not, is connected to me and I'm connected to them. And we just can live in that and do amazing things. So I know I'm saying a lot of the same stuff over and over again. I think I really want to make sure that everybody feels and understands the love that I feel for you all, the gratitude that I feel, that even on the days when I'm really struggling, whether it's through the workload and I'm tired, or it's through some type of insecurity that I might be experiencing, that I know that this is meaningful. And I want you to know that what you do is meaningful and that you are meaningful. And if you need a reminder, reach out to me. I would be more than happy to let you know how incredible you are. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day. I have my two of my kids have a bunch of friends over right now. I can hear, you can't hear, I can hear laughter in the background. I love it. I love the sound of kids laughing and being present with each other. So I will be signing off and going to kind of take a peek at that and then getting back to getting some stuff done. But I wish you all just to have a wonderful and incredible day. Love you all and appreciate you. Take care, everybody.